see the Discord. What's going on? Welcome up to Wired Up. I was supposed to be on the camera and I forgot to messed up the setup, so I am not going to be on the camera. However, you are going to see our Discord channel. What's good, everybody? How's everybody doing? Just kind of give everybody a little bit of the lay of the land on what this Wired Up is going to be about. It's kind of a little bit of a one-on-one. I know some of the veterans, for them, they'll already know. They know all this. Obviously, I might have one or two things to talk about tomorrow and what the plan is going forward. However, anything that is going to be about majority of this Wired Up is going to be more about the ins and outs of the CSBA. So just kind of jumping right into it, there are a lot of yellow, and this is going to be a good refresher for any coach that wants to share this with their yellow chip players. But what I've noticed, and within the first couple of days of the, you could barely hear me. That's weird because I'm pretty loud. I don't know why. I'll just move this a little closer to my mic, to my face, and I'll put the decibels a little bit higher. Hopefully that's a little bit better. But anyway, just real quick, for a lot of the yellow chip players, they have come in. What I've noticed that they have not figured out yet is that we put in a new rule earlier in league announcements regarding the yellow chip players. I really strongly suggest you read what this is here. It's in league announcements. Again, basically what it is that a yellow chip player, which is a progression, which is a free, they can't get upgraded by coaches. It is all grind, things that you actually have to do to progress your player. It is free. I will say, though, you get only 3 seasons instead of 4. But for you to be able to start to progress, you have to cash in 15,000 Twitch points before you can start nabbing some of the smaller ones that require you to actually be able to upgrade. And this is important for you, especially because viewership is where it's at. Obviously, you're going to be tuning in. We have basically 3 hours of games a night. So in reality, even if you tuned in to the first 3 hours, you should probably get roughly around 1,500 progression points, Twitch points in that in one night alone. Okay, so if you watch it with your volume slightly on, and again, this is a piece of advice that I'm going to suggest to anybody who is a yellow chip player. I don't care whether you're in the stream or not. I'm just going to tell you that first and foremost. But what I tell people to do, especially if you're a yellow chip player, what you should then do is turn your phone on, walk away. I don't care. We'll get credit for your viewership as long as the volume is on slightly. So will you for the points. Then in addition to that, those points should accumulate as the streams go on from stream to stream. You will also get there's reward. There's also like streaks and stuff like that in the league chat right here. League chat in the pinned. If somewhere in here should be, if I am not, I'm going to get to see all the funny things that we have saved. But here it is. It is pinned in here. So if you're watching, you're actively watching, if you're participating in a raid, if you're following, you actually get additional points. And then there's streaks, there's cheers, there's a bunch of different things here that will give you extra additional points. So again, this is pinned in league chat, right? So let's just go back to league announcements. But just a heads up on that. That's a Twitch thing. That's not even a CSBA thing. That's a Twitch thing, okay? Majority of the points that you're going to earn as a yellow chip player are going to be watching streams. And again, I don't care if you tune in or you don't tune in. But if you ever want to be able to progress your player, and this is where we say it is a grind, every night, Monday to Saturday, with the exception of Saturday. Saturday might be only 1 hour. Every night is at least 3 hours of streams, okay? So just keep that in mind, Monday through Friday. I think Saturday we generally have 1 hour, and we have high school that kicks in and ends up being like 3 hours. So it's 18 hours of streams a night. Okay, so you have the ability to earn that 15,000 pretty darn quickly, and obviously, if you stay consistent with it, you can use that on top of you can use the additional Twitch points that you get for watching the streams, and we want to encourage you to watch the streams. Those points over time will earn you to be able to get packs and other things, right? And I'll show you where those are and exist also as well. I try to do check-ins, which get you about 200 points a day. Those points and everything you need to know, usually when I post, it'll be in this rewards channel. I'll tag you. I actually tagged the other day, and I think only 20 people did it. But what's interesting is I literally wrote a message, and I usually give some sort of message to the guys every time I do this, and this is good for coaches to know too. But I posted a message. If you don't subscribe first, you will not get credit for the check-in points. That's 300 points right here. Reach up arrow, right? So I said I strongly encourage you watching the reading and the progression how-to first. The progression how-to is here. This channel explains the rules. It has some frequently asked questions. It shows you how to redeem the points. It shows you what and how you can redeem, like what you can do in the number of things. And the way the points work for yes, Vibe Chip. This is for the yellow chip. Yes, correct. That is correct. Sorry if I didn't say that. But yes, this is 100%. Anybody that's a yellow chip is a progression player. So these are all in values that, so like let's say you had to cash in 8,000, there's an 8,000 one. Let's say you had to cash in 5,000, you would do 4 plus the 1. 6,000, etc. Like these are all increments that will add up to whatever we have. You might say, well, where are those things of what you have to get? Boom. It's in the progression how to. Here it tells you what those points are. 15,000 to get that blue chip upgrade, which I just talked about. Every 8,000 points, you can get 10-point upgraded to your player. 12 for speed, 4 for bronze badges, and all that stuff. Like it's all literally right here. It's literally the first thing, progression system rules. So like for you, that is what you have to do for you to be able to earn points by watching streams. I mentioned this to you. I've mentioned this multiple times to people that the yellow chip is a grind. I will say there is one other aspect to this too. We do have jobs. We have stats crew, which I think we're full or might need one person there, so it's not a lot. But we do also ask for people for content team, and we also ask for color commentators. Color commentators, all those jobs required you know, the color commentator, and I have a couple people that have done it. Rick Mort, big reason why his player's always been good is because he does color commentator all the time. Eaton, who's in the stream, I think, or if not, he does stats for us, but he grabs a handful of games every week. Boom, those get paid out in CSBA points and credits. Those can be used also to help build your player. But let's just say you're in a stream, you've redeemed your points. What you would then do is come over to progression, redeem points. This is all for progression players, right? But before I go, I'm going to pause for a second, go back because I actually skipped over this point. So again, we have this, and we said, well, make sure you subscribe first. If you didn't subscribe, you will not get credit for these points, okay? Subscriptions are here. You literally have to just come in here, type percentage side subscribe, and it'll say you are now subscribed to the service by the Gully Bot. If you are already subscribed, it will tell you that you've already subscribed. You only need to do this subscription once. Once you do that, anytime you click a reaction up arrow, it will put points into your tracker. The tracker is here. You can go in this tracker whenever you want. You'll have to find your name. It'll say how much you've earned. It'll say what your current balance is, and this is what you've actually redeemed. We have other channels that are hidden here for the admins for like when you redeem something from your balance, so that we can actually delete it from your balance. But again, this progression how-to really sets the stage for that. Again, the other thing that I've said to people too, with regards to progression, this is important. Let's say halfway through you're like, I don't want to deal with progression anymore. This is annoying. I want to pay. I'd rather get paid. Yeah, that's why a lot. That's why I'd say about 80% of our league is paid. Is because guys don't want to grind. Hey, listen, there are people that don't have the money or don't want to spend on a sim league. Totally get it. Totally respect you. We appreciate it. We actually put money into the league between a variety of back end things. So there is a cost to run it, not only the time and energy, blood, sweat, and tears that I have away from my family to run the league. So there's a little bit of both. But let's just say you don't want to be a yellow chip player any longer. You want to pay. You can actually buy your blue chip. In addition, coaches can buy your blue chip for you if you mutually decide that you want to be on the paid system. But just know, once you go to the paid system, which means you get a 4-year career and you can buy attributes and badges and packs whenever you want. That is the reason why 80% of our league is more or less paid, because they don't want to wait. They don't want to grind. They want to live their life. But we also understand that there are people that want to be a part of the CSBA, which we do want, that can contribute between content, between color commentary or stats, or just the simple grind, because that's all that they can do or are capable of doing just based on their lives. All fine, well, and good. That's the reason why we have the free system. But again, it's a grind, and it's a grind for an easy reason. If we put everything super easy, everybody would just, when they come in and walk in the door, would go free, and the CSBA wouldn't exist, because again, blood, sweat, and tears away from my family. So and the back end costs that we put into it. So we're always trying to make ourselves better, but just be mindful of that. When you do cash in a pack, you will screenshot it and you will post it in the Progression Redemptions channel, just kind of like this. So like it should be, if you can, a screenshot of what the game is, and it'll show. If you look at Key West here, Downtown Dory, he put his name and he cashed in 6,000. He wrote what he was doing, so he said, okay, I cashed in 6,000 on Twitch and 2,000 from his tracker. He screenshot the tracker. I would find his name on there, and it said, okay, that's good. From there, you don't necessarily have to put plus 10 steel. It's up to you if you wanted to. But let's say he cashed into 8,000, right? Those 8,000, we have in the CSBA store points allocation form and a badge purchase sheet. So what Downtown Dory would then have to go into the points allocation form, and he'd pull it up, we'll visit the site, and you literally would come in here, put your name, first and last name, your team name, your Discord name, what kind of order, etc., all the information, and then on top of it, when you go to the next page, it'll tell you what you're applying it to. We have something on the back end built that when you do points allocations, it gets connected, and all I have to do is click a button to put it on the coach's sheet, and it'll show the actual thing on the back end for me, and I'm able to put those upgrades into the game. It makes it a little bit easier. That's something that we instituted beginning of last season, which makes life a lot easier for me and doing the back end, because again, it's a lot of work that's done manually. That's one little small step. So again, you gotta do the redemption points, screenshot, blah blah blah, boom, gold. Like you can see Rick Mort turned in for golds. Like that's how far he got. He got the gold badges. So your coaches will have a coaches sheet that has literally all the teams and what their overalls are by category. So they are definitely a good person to communicate with regards to how you're cashing in your points. But this is just kind of a little bit of an FYI as far as how the progression goes. If you are a paid player, every paid player, I believe, I don't know if it might have upped it to. They made a couple of announcements, and I have to go back, but I know everybody gets 3 viewership rewards if they turn in 5,000 points. This is for paid players only, blue chip paid players only. If they cash in 5,000 points, they can get a viewership reward. You can see it. Let's see, where is it? Trying to go through one. Here you go. Elwood cashed in 5,000. Here it is. Player viewership reward. They're paid players. They got plus 10 to you get 3 per career. I think I added other things too. Like if you boost the server, you get a free pack. I think I added some additional things in there, and this goes for everybody. Individual dunks, if you want to add individual dunks, they're 2,500. Those are just for paid players. So just give you kind of guys a little bit of other things. We have some things that are additional that for paid players that also help give them some bonus packs. But again, if you screenshot it and post it, like this is what Kyle's did. He did the server boost. We get notifications in the server anyway, but he posted it so that I know that when he submits the form through the CSBA store link, he gets those bonus points. So usually I check them off when I am done, just kind of like this. You can see. And then if you've cashed in a viewership reward as a paid player, you'll see I'll put a number there too. Okay, I put it in. This is his second of his 3 that he gets. So just those are some things to know as a paid player that you get as well. So those are a few different things there as far as that is gone from a paid and a free paid player or a free player. The other thing, guys, and I'm starting to notice this, league announcements. You know, it's good to know that when you guys read these that you could put some sort of emoji, but I can tell you right now, there are a lot of people that are not reading the league announcements. And I think in the last week or two, and a lot of these are new guys, literally I would make an announcement and like 20 minutes later we're like, when does recruiting start? When does recruiting start? And meanwhile, I had said it that day multiple times. I make announcements. Yes, sometimes you got to read them, and I apologize that you have to read them. But I did lay out a schedule at some point. I'm trying to find it. But I will ping you. I will give you an idea of like what you need to do. Talked about the nerf. Here's a perfect example. I talked about the nerf of the interior force arc from 7.6 to 7.3. There are some additional things. Where is the timeline? Transfer window. Let's see. Nope, this is it. All right, here's the one I made on 12.5, literally. And I know that there are some people that came into the league around this time or before this time, and I posted this. And literally that day, posted it at 1:38 p.m. It was like 7 o'clock that night, and they're like, when does recruiting start? And literally it says, prospect recruiting starts on the 13th and ends on the 22nd. So like, just to kind of give you guys an idea, I do post a lot of these things. Here's an example of the paid model. Then we have a paid subscription model, and then the free model. 7 people emojied it. I don't know if other people saw this. I can tell you right now, I don't think a lot have. So there are a lot of announcements that we do make to the community. This is my way to communicate to you. So I ask that you try to honestly try to read these when I post them, because a lot of times there's nothing more annoying or frustrating as posting something and 10 minutes later being asked when something happens because nobody didn't read it. If you have questions to new people when you come in, there is an FAQ section here. This talks about a lot of different things: how to create a player, the difference in the kind of models, where do I find the archetypes, how do I upgrade my players. How do the badges work? That's a good example. Hey, here's a great intro video as well on a how-to. I post this is all stuff to try to keep you guys to not kill yourself and have to ask a million questions. The same thing goes for the how-to, progression how-to. Guess what? I have a progression how-to video right here too. So that's in addition to what's written here. So these are just some things and some guides to help you, to let you know that there is a lot here in this Discord to kind of give you an idea of like how do we do things. So yeah, you got to read it. It's the grind pays off. It just some people don't want to do it. Some people get frustrated. They'll leave. You're gonna see people ghost. It happens all the time. But we do our best to try to give you guys options as much as possible. And feel free, questions and answers, or in league chat. If you don't know, you can ask. Our veterans will respond and they'll reply, or I'll reply, or admins will reply. But I will say if I show a little bit of impatience during that time because it's something I literally just posted, just bear with me, because I do know there are a lot of people that are very lazy and just won't read because you know what, they don't really want to invest the time. It is what it is. So just a heads up there. Also, another thing, when you guys all made your profiles, this is important. You should have submitted a tendencies too. So just like, to give you an example, and a lot of people don't realize this. Welcome. I got a MeBot, right? In the MeBot, this tells you where the player creation forms is. But it's got all the new archetypes. It's got all the archetypes. It's got a tendency change request. You got to fill out a tendency application, regardless of whether you're free or paid. What this does is that if you're and for the guys that haven't seen this too, so like I'm gonna let me pull up something. Hold on real quickly. I don't know if it's linked here. It might not be. Tendencies. Okay. I don't know if this is linked. I have to look. But just so you guys know or have an understanding of how does the tendencies work. So just know this. Like when you fill out your form, you're going to be asked to pick tendencies for each tier, right? So if you're a 77 to 82, which is basically any base tier, 77 to 82 is what these are your tendencies for a scoring point guard. If you're a tier 2, this is what it would be, tier 1, and then legend tendencies, okay? So these are your only choices. If you look here, it also has their play types. This is good for coaches who don't really understand how, why their players aren't succeeding in it. You got to look at what the tendencies of your players are. So just so you guys understand what the tendencies are. We have this for every position. So it gives you kind of an idea. But legends, this is the tendencies that they play like. This is important. This is not play like a pro. Some people have asked about that. These are, Kobe Bryant, chances of him shooting, probably 95%, right? He tends to shoot more mid-range, right? That's why that number says 75. That's what all these different categories are, okay? So this kind of gives you an idea of like what their play types are in fact like. And it's important. Obviously, the higher you go, the better the tendencies typically. But some people, hey, I really like Bradley Beal over Gilgeous Alexander. Then maybe that guy chooses that. But you got to fill out a form, and that form is literally right here, right? So if you haven't done that, I'm probably going to hound coaches for it, but that's something that's important that you need to do. If you could do it sooner rather than later, it makes me have to track people down less, but that's appreciated too. If at any point you turn in anything that is related to, accessories or shoes or anything like that, all the shoe styles are here for you to be able to look up. There's also an upgrade tool tracker if you want to keep track of your own. So there's a lot of things that you have to do as a player here, but I think most of it is pretty straightforward if you just kind of take the time and actually read. And Bactress said it. You couldn't have said it any better, Bactress. If you stay active, stay on Twitch stream and chat and Discord. Lots of people answer your questions, help along the way. It is a ton of fun. Tomorrow we actually have our transfer signing day at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So you will see. I think I said it's tomorrow. Yeah, I think tomorrow's signing day. So did I say that right? Is that correct? Hold on a second. I gotta make sure I'm correct. Yeah, signing day begins at 1 p.m. upon my announcement. So you're going to see tomorrow where some of our transfers actually sign by posting, graphics of where they're signing, etc. You'll see Discord popping off. It's a ton of fun. This happens during regular recruiting as well. But again, this is just for the transfer guys. This is not for the prospects yet. So I want to repeat, not for the prospects, but this is for the transfer portal. The prospects recruiting starts on the 13th. You'll get this is another piece of very vital, important information. This goes for yellow chip and blue chip players. So just please understand this. Coaches are going to reach out to you. They are going to try and recruit you. You will get multiple offers. Some might only get one offer. It varies from person to person. It varies on how active you are in Discord. A lot of times, the more active you are, the more people will reach out to you because they want people that are involved. If it's somebody that literally made a profile and never says another word again in Discord, there's a small possibility that you're still going to get an offer, but there's also a possibility that, you might only get one. Whereas if you are somebody who is active and actually gets involved into the league, coaches are going to notice that because we want active players. We want people that we're going to know that either grinding as a progression, or if you're paid, that are going to invest in your player. If you're somebody that just kind of comes in and like fizzles away, they're probably not going to reach out to you. And every season, it's like, well, I haven't gotten an offer, and the recruitment window just opened up. Like, listen, there are 32 teams in here. Not every team has an assistant head coach, and not every team has a recruiting coordinator on top of them being the head coach, right? So from that perspective, it's important to have patience. That's the reason why the recruiting window is open as long as it is. And it's important because not everybody can get to everybody in the first day. Like I can tell you right now, and I'll use this as an example, Ryan Davis is a guy that literally came in. He ended up being an assistant head coach, but the guy's been nothing but active since he walked in the door, okay? I can guarantee you he probably would have been one of the more sought-off recruited players here in the CSBA because of his activity. So just note that, like, if you're not being active, you may not get a lot of offers. And again, offers are not going to happen in the first 5 seconds you're going to be during that window. People work. People have lives. People go to school. Maybe people have a family that are coaches, right? So you got to give it some patience. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to start. There's only 10 roster spots on a team. We put in equal minutes, but it ends up being like a 60-40 split. But I can also tell you this, yellow chip players, you're probably going to, I want to start. Well, guess what? There's probably a strong chance that the starters are probably high overall players that are probably going to start because they're going to get the most minutes. You're coming in as a base player. It's a 77 overall, and there's nothing wrong with that. Your guy will still produce, but it's a long way from when we came in when they were 70 overalls. Now they're 77s. You're the equivalent of what a paid player is. But the difference is you can't start progressing until you start turning in those twitch points. So just be mindful of that. But again, recruiting is a fickle thing. Have fun with it. Do not just dive in at the first offer you get, but just notice this too, that people do flip. Sometimes an offer that might have, and listen, someone reaching out to you isn't necessarily an offer, it's an interest level, right? They have to say, hey, I'm offering you a spot on our team. And you, as the player, say, okay, I would like to accept your offer. I would like to come to, LSU. Okay. We have a verbal agreement between the two. Until signing day, teams and players can flip. They can change and say their position went away. They can say that, hey, I decided to go to another team that recruited me. We ask those players to at least be honest with the coaches and just keep open lines of communication. And it helps on both sides because if you're not communicative, you could go to sign on signing day and then all of a sudden find yourself without a team to go to because you're not being and staying in constant communication with the team during that window. Because at the end of the day, it's you agreeing, and then on signing day, that the coach is confirming that letter of intent. So it's a two-step process, but it's important to understand that when it comes to recruiting. Have fun with it. It's probably one of the more fun times. It's stressful for the coaches. You got to remember there are 320 players in the league. Maybe not all of them are in the recruiting portal, but I can tell you right now, this is probably one of the biggest classes of players to recruit we've ever had. So there's going to be a lot of conversations. It's the reason why the window is a little long. And then from there, I'd like to maybe run a prospect game prior to January 2nd, but January 2nd is when we are expecting to kick off the season. I have a little bit of time before we end the stream. If anybody has any specific questions, I really have not been paying attention to the chat, so if anybody has a question, now is a good time to ask. I don't mind it because it could be a question that most people have either asked already or want to know. So does anybody have any questions? And again, I know I kind of just rambled through this, but the good news is if once the stream ends, you can go back and watch the VOD. So I'm excited for what's to come for Season 12. So does anybody have any questions? I'm going to scroll back through chat and see if there's anything specific that I didn't see. Tina said this is what I needed to hear. Big Boy, you mentioned, is this just for yellow chips? I said no. I think I said that it would helpful that this is more for new players, but again, Ultra said, how many points do you get for watching the streams? I think it's roughly around 500 or 400 to 500 a stream. You get bonuses if you watch multiple. Again, it's pinned in league chat. Bartleby says, does this stack up with the blue chip? I'm not sure what that was referring to. I'm assuming. Yeah, if you do go to the paid side, you have to stay a paid. I mentioned blue chips can cash in the free rewards, but everything else is being via the store. No, Undertaker said yellow chips can play for one season. No, we changed it to 3 seasons. Let's see. Black Square. Let's see. My first time here. Yeah, there's a subscription. Someone asked about the subscription model. There is a subscription model. It's a little bit of a slower payment plan versus like coming in and buying a ton of packs. But the cool thing about the subscription model, and again, it's if you scroll up in league announcements, it literally says it right here. It's 9 weeks recurring sub model where it deducts $5 a week from whether it's your credit card, whether it's your Apple Pay, whatever you set up in the store. And instead of getting 10 points in a $4.50 purchase for a regular 10-point pack, you actually get 13 points to apply to your play a week early. So there's a little bit of a savings, plus you're getting some additional points, but you'll have to actually have to put in the weekly points into our form. So that's just a heads up there. I know someone said this is a little bit of a grind. I know that G Hard actually said if you don't want to pay, it's fine. Grind it is a grind. And there are some people that don't want to grind. So anyway, there's that. Someone said raise the cap. Yeah, that's not happening. Gonna have to be. I'm just kind of going through. Yeah, definitely save up your Twitch points and use those check-ins when I post it. I tried. If I see people are doing it consistently, I'll try to stay active with it and do it. Again, remember there are some jobs too. So like if you decide you want to do a color commentary, stats, content, there's a lot of different ways you could potentially get some additional points to put towards your player, credits, etc. Let's see what else. Vibe, you said I see the form, not the sheets. Are you talking about the tendencies themselves? Ovo, you said, are we guaranteed a certain amount of offers? No, you could get 32, you could get 1. That's why I say it's important. Um, that's why it's important to be active. Vengeance being a wise guy. No, you cannot recruit early. Tendencies guys right above it. No, really depends on needs. Yep. Then there's needs too. So like you might be interested in St. John's, and St. John's might not need a center. So like it's just we will update team needs. Ultra. What I will say is that most people post in top schools. So top schools opens 24 hours after the recruiting. After recruiting opens, most people will say, most what they do to start, they'll say, hey, here's my final 3 teams, or like top 4 schools, no order. However, if you don't have an offer, my suggestion is still to put in top schools. You could say things like, I have no offers. I'm actively accepting offers, and put your name, because coaches check this. They want to see how they stack up. This is an extra way for prospects to actually communicate back to the community. So there's that too. So yeah, and then if you're looking for that tendencies guide, it's creation styles tendency guide. I think here it is. This is why it's not. Here it is. This is what I showed you, a copy of the tendency sheet. So it's this link right here. It's in tendency guides, creation styles. I see numbers. I see numbers are dwindling. Does anybody else have any other questions? Otherwise, I'll wrap this up and post the VOD so everybody can go back and watch it. Yeah, we're looking at some. So he said, "Need JUCO added." We're looking at something. We used to have. We had high school. I'm looking to kind of change that a little bit going forward, but we're talking about maybe changing the game, and we'll see. Ultra, right now, you're going to get offers. We have, based on numbers, you're going to get an offer. And if you don't get an offer, you got to post that you have not received offers. There's no G League because this is college. But we talked about rejiggering high school, or making it like AAU or something like that. So just be on the lookout for that. We're still kind of working on that, especially since we wanted to switch to a newer version of the game potentially next year. So there's that. The only cap on upgrades in college, Koosh, is the max as a freshman you can have is 5 golds once you've built up to that. Once you're a sophomore, you can max out. Yeah, Ultra, I mean, what I've seen, and it's all good. I understand it. I understand you're wondering. Right now, based on numbers, I think we're a couple players short of having 320. There are some people that didn't check in that were supposed to, so I'm wondering if those people have ghosted. So that's the reason why we're continually taking new members. But if for some strange reason, let's say we overachieve and we have more than we need, you would go to high school, yes. But you're going to get an offer, so I wouldn't worry about it, especially if you're active. All right, going once. Any more questions? What's up, Willie? Well, you definitely need to follow. That is a must, yes. Subscription is not mandatory, but I would say subscription will help you get points quicker. They come quicker. I think you, instead of like 500 per screen, 500 per hour that you're watching, you get more. I think it's like 1.5 value versus 1. Which it ends up adding up quickly, especially if you're somebody that watches them. So, but follow for sure to get the points. Yes, subscription not necessary. Sometimes listen, you show up and you chat up the stream on a regular basis. I do gift subs from time to time. I know other people sometimes will gift sub, so it just depends. Or you could do it yourself, either or. So that's just information for you with regards to the whole sub situation. We do have commercials that are in here. I think it's a minute per stream, if I remember correctly. I know Twitch has done some wonky stuff over time, where they changed their commercial model. So I don't really know how it works these days. I need to familiarize myself with the most newest model. But yeah, I think it's right now it's about a minute per stream, per hour rather, or minute per hour or minute per half hour. I forget exactly. So, but if anybody else has any other questions, Q&A is a good place. League chat is a good place. I give you guys one more minute. If there's no more questions, like I said, I'll post this VOD after. So yes, Dax, you get 3 viewership rewards that are 5,000. You get it plus 10. You get basically three free packs per career as a paid, but you got to cash in 5,000 Twitch points for each. In addition to that, there are some other smaller redeemable things, whether it's, I want to say it's like individual dunks. There's like 2 or 3 additional ones that we just added, but what I'll do is I'll try to summarize those here in an announcement in the next week, just so you guys all know. So, I am not actually on a team right now, Ultra. My guy is a prospect. He's a freshman this season. I actually retired my player, but I was on Villanova last year. I used to be a coach. I coached for the first 6 seasons of CSBA, but I stopped. So now I'm just a prospect. That's how I kind of have fun. My 2 kids are in the league. One of them's on Virginia Tech. One is in the transfer portal. So those guys are here. They don't talk a lot because they're 12 and 11, but they're here. I know my one son who's in the transfer portal talks a lot with his team and his team's Discord. But yeah, I don't know. I know where I'm going, but I'm not telling anybody where I'm going. I'm keeping it on the DL. So I guess with that, again, I intended to be on camera tonight. I apologize for not being on camera. But I thought this was really good, like how-to for all you guys. And again, if you have questions, ask in League Chat, ask in Q&A. But a lot of it is on the Discord, and I will say, definitely, look before you ask. And if you just truly don't know where it is, someone will guide you, or you can actually ask the question. And then the intent is to start the season on January 2nd. So you'll hear me on play-by-play. I do a play-by-play a lot. We have Csba, who is one of our admins, who also does play-by-play. And we also have Ace Lord, who is not an admin, but does a lot of streaming for us. He's the Kansas coach. And again, color commentary, content, stats, any of those jobs are also ways that you can also earn some extra coin. No, I have a team that I want to play for. That's all. They don't even know that I want to play there. So hopefully they offer me. But well, here's the thing. So Ultra, I said this in an announcement. You need to cash your points to get to unlock the blue chip, which will allow you to upgrade. In before you can do anything else, and anybody that doesn't cash in, as of right now, this is the way I'm doing it. If you do not cash them in, you will not get to continue, because what ends up happening is guys just don't do anything. They ghost, and it's really difficult to know if they're active or if they're not active by just remaining constant. So we ask that you to try to get those 15,000 in before the end of the first season. I mean, I've seen people who are progressions literally do the 15,000 in 1 week. So just be mindful of that. And again, the more you're in stream, the quicker the points go, because you get streaks, you get all the different things. So just keep in mind. And with that said, I am going to log out because we're down to about 15. But we appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Again, please ask in League Chat, Q&A if you have any questions. I'm going to post this VOD in the league announcements here in a minute, all right? Or you can just come back to the Twitch page and see it. So, yes, you have to go blue chip before you can save, yes. Do not. Oh, that's one other thing I wouldn't do. It's important. I would not spend, like, don't go cash it in 5,000 points and do it in increments. Do it all at once. That is super important. All right, I got a jet. It's 10 to 10, but I appreciate you all. Thanks for